This is the Bull Mountain Brothers podcast.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the B&B Network, and you're listening to the 4th episode, Season 3 of the Bull Mountain Brothers podcast. What's up, boys?
You know, our big producer over there's got a real hard task today.
Why is that?
Because typically, you're sitting there switching between only really 3 groups. But now you're doing it as like 3 individual groups, and the 2 guys that talk the most have their own cameras. So it's like, because like normally, you know, like if Riley's talking and Matt starts talking, you can just relax a little bit. But now, things are changed.
Oh, there's 100% possibility that I missed a switch.
Oh, yeah.
It just stays on Sean the whole time.
And then
Like
also,
right now.
because Matt obviously is not here, Ramsy's going to pick up the slack of how much Matt talks. It's actually what we discussed before the podcast.
So about a 3% grade.
I was literally just going to say like 3% increase.
I would say 3% total. Don't get ahead of yourself here.
So we're at about 95.5 now.
I feel like these lights might be a little bright. Anybody else feeling that?
No, I think it looks good. I think
Look at my hand. It's like a different.
It's even you're not unfocused on your back shelf back there either.
I know.
It looks good.
Wait, go back to me. You can actually read it now. I feel like the last one I was like looking at the TV and I had to squint. Producer's on his game today.
So you know where I want to start today, guys? For the first time in 2024, we did something. Well, not we. A couple of us did some outdoor activities for the first time this year. Tell me the story.
This will be
From what I know, it's going to
real
be short. What'd
Take
you
it
do?
away, Sean.
So Ramsy and I decided to, because it's summertime now in Montana, to go elk hunting. 40 degrees for a shoulder hunt. It was more like 35. Felt like it was a good idea. Went out to Narnia, property that we've done this several times. Had, what would you say?
Marginal
luck. But, I mean, this year was just so, we haven't even got into any of this, but the year was so packed full of like different experiences on that property alone. I mean, it was probably one of the better years that you and I have been together hunting on it. Real slow start to the morning. Saw some turkeys relatively early. Yeah. Well, you know what we did? I don't know if Ramsy's gotten into it. So this is how we did this.
I actually really don't know anything other than, spoiler alert, you guys didn't see anything.
So we came in obviously by the house, and instead of going through the brown gate, we cut the other way, essentially.
We still had to go through.
No, okay, yeah, but okay, yeah. We still went through the brown gate, but instead of going our typical direction to drop down, we went the other way and cut down that way, thinking, maybe something down by the Cottonwood area or something like that would be. Didn't work out. Came across though, and the one spot that you say you've never seen turkeys before, right at the Cottonwoods.
Still, you guys keep running into them there.
Huge flock.
Went up on top, and then we started seeing the elk tracks. I mean, at first it was slow. It was about maybe like maybe 1 or 2 together, and then the deer tracks were just bonkers.
Oh my God,
it was
everywhere.
And the thing was, like what we kept saying, it has snowed Thursday, right? Was the last day it snowed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it had to have been within 36 hours that we were kind of thinking that, these animals were moving around. And I don't know. I mean, we seen tons and tons of tracks everywhere, kind of getting our hopes up and everything. And saw 4 mule deer does all day, including the turkeys. And that is the story of the shoulder hunt for 2024.
Do you have anything to add to that, Ramsy? Was there nothing else special?
Can't even wait for me to sit down.
Oh, sorry. I was just fixing cameras. He's a very active producer this season.
I know. Now that he's off the table, he's up and out and about.
No, I don't have anything to add to that other than it's just one of those times where you're a day late and $1 short.
I mean, the tracks we saw I mean, towards obviously because we were only out there till what about like 10, and then we went and talked to the landowner for about 45 minutes or so. But I mean, tail end of I'd say 8 o'clock, right around 9 is when we started seeing. I mean, we saw tracks that there had to have been a decent sized herd moving through there, and in a spot that you alone would probably think is super bizarre to see that many elk tracks on.
Okay.
Up where he shot his first big deer.
Second big deer.
No. We saw him. The first set that we saw the big herd was over by where you shot your first one.
But on the other side of the creek bottom.
Oh, really? Over there?
Yeah.
Well, actually, that makes that they've got to be like a winter route through there, because that's actually where Ramsy found.
There is a podcast dog in the studio.
Yeah, we have
today.
Hazel in here today.
That was me though.
We're
by the way.
babysitting.
Was it?
Yeah, that
Oh.
was totally me.
She is doing. I heard her whine a couple times, but yeah, she's really active right now. I think she's hungry. She hasn't eaten dinner yet, but that one year Ramsey found an elk shed kind of in that runway, essentially. You know what I mean?
Cable is what I refer to it as.
Yeah.
Why is that?
That's the road that takes you right up the middle. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about?
But like, I'm just saying, it doesn't surprise me that this time of the year the elk are going through there, because like that. I mean, if you found a shed there, they're clearly.
I actually
using,
think Dad found it there.
or maybe we're talking about different places. Oh, that's where you.
Yeah.
I'm confused because Ramsey shot his deer way further away, way far away from that.
Not really.
On the other side.
I mean, yeah, you're at essentially close to that eastern fence line.
You guys are gonna have to draw this up later. It's too hard to talk about.
Okay, I mean, honestly, to boil it down, as soon as we went up, as he refers to as cable, that's when we started seeing the elk.
Oh, okay.
Elk tracks, I should.
Yeah.
Don't want to.
I wonder if you think that like they just chill together because they get pushed all over.
When we were talking to the landowner, he stated that cold weather and high winds will
Pushes
push
them
them
in.
down into the bottom.
Has he said that he had seen some at all, or?
Actually,
He did, yeah.
yeah, he called us. He's like, "You guys missed them." He's like, "They're 3 miles west of my property." He said, "There's like herd of about 30 of them in there," and I was like,
Oh, that's the only
neat.
herd in this entire 100-mile radius. But you know what was the weird thing is
"It's like I knew you were gonna talk." I switched to you.
that property that we can't hunt anymore, no elk tracks on that side.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, no. Essentially, from where Hogwarts cuts up it, and then it obviously goes back to Narnia. That area over there, none. Not even deer tracks. I don't really think. I mean, coyote tracks
Yeah,
up the
yeah.
ass, but
Well, they could be going through the timber
All
too.
predator coolie, as I like to call it.
Well, I'm glad that you guys at least got to go out, even though you forgot to do my video for me. Ramsey dropped the ball on that one.
you know what he said to me when we were literally like pulling by the house? He goes, forgot to ride on Trek.
You just didn't want to hop. You were running late, weren't you?
Not that house.
No, like
Not our house.
Oh,
the house.
landowner house.
landowner house.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I feel like you were running late too because I saw you that morning, and it seemed like you were rushing.
No.
No,
I did actually finally get the full experience of where he shot his last big deer. Because
Oh, you gotta go check it out.
I'd been there,
This was the first year I got to see it too.
but never actually.
I don't even
Ventured.
think you've been back in there though.
No,
I haven't outwalked. I was
too lazy.
I mean, it is a funnel from hell. It is crazy.
There was a lot of deer tracks, or deer and elk
How's
tracks
the
in there.
the deer? We'll talk about that later. Oh, I was just wondering how the blind on the neighbor's place is coming along.
Oh, they're working on it. We can hear machine.
Is it confirmed that's what it is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're doing it. It's like
Or are they building a house?
no.
2 blinds.
It's like the one's like a tower blind.
Which is
It's
interesting.
like one of those ones you'd see in Texas.
Yeah, not
or
a Montana.
Like,
style.
or like Hunter Call the Wild style.
Which is also
Yeah.
weird to see some like on someone else's place that's like not very timbery. So it doesn't make a ton of sense.
Now that's the majority of that property is timber.
But like, do you think it's hidden? I don't feel like it's hidden. If you can see it from where you guys
Well,
go.
do you know where he had
Yeah,
it?
but if they
We're
have
also-
it there
we're also-
year round and it never moves and they don't ever.
So you're
get
saying
spooked
that
from
on
it.
a certain like a certain plot of land that you hunt, you could put a ground blind or a tower blind in,
they would just get used to it.
and they would just get used to it.
Well, yeah, because you're only there. You're not archery hunting off of it, so I mean,
I mean, you might be.
Maybe.
What if they
but
start getting killed out of it? They don't think they're gonna be like, this means death.
No.
I wouldn't think so. Well, here's
I
the
guess
thing.
Think
you
about
know,
tree stands.
Yeah, I guess I know
You
people
know where
that
it
never
is,
move
right?
tree stands. Yeah, I've seen it.
like, you know what's the environment around it, right?
Well, I mean, it's elky for sure.
It's going to be probably pretty good for him, I
Yeah.
think.
That's why you guys should go in their archery season and just like bugle,
Oh my god, these buttons are so sensitive.
just bugle. Try to
Nah,
get him.
dude, food's good here.
They're like, nah, this is way cooler over here. No, I'm saying you should.
That was my question I had.
You should bugle, so they think that there's elk everywhere, and just mess with them.
Oh, yeah.
That was my biggest question that I was even asking the landowner this last trip on Saturday was, which they don't really know the owners of Hogwarts very much. I mean, I think they finally just met him,
Yeah.
but I wanted to know, I was like, do you, like, because obviously, you know, he's been out there for a long time. I wanted to know if, like, how much water they have on that place. I don't, like, I mean, Onyx, you can look at it and sure it'll, like, show you the pin of, like maybe, like, what a solar well looks like, but you don't know if it's, like, active.
I bet you the water that is being used for that is the same water that you guys used to sit on.
Yeah, I think they still have the creek.
Is it, okay, where it like, from old property, Narnia, and Hogwarts, you know, it runs down
I think it
between the
runs
old
into it.
property and Hogwarts. Does it, where it stops?
Keep talking. I'll go look it up.
I'm pretty sure it goes underground because it,
Good.
like, if you think about, because Narnia,
Well,
you
I will say this is a route that I took for the infamous you and me hunt. I did walk down that creek a little ways,
oh yeah, but you didn't,
and it seemed like it kept going a bit.
but you know that,
Because I walked to the property line and there was still a creek there.
do you know that there's that, you know where the timber starts? You know when you go up to that gate off Narnia there that splits you there? Do you know that fence line that wraps and it goes like this and then it cuts back at the timber? That's all Narnia still. That goes there. Like all the way to that fence line.
Right.
So it's almost to like that rock face.
Right.
So, but there's no creek there.
So, in looking at the map, the creek starts dead center in the middle of the property
Yeah, that's what I figured.
and runs all the way through the property.
I wonder how
So
it
they
starts in
have
the middle.
quite a bit of.
You think
So
it's a
that
spring?
valley,
That's got to be a spring. The whole
No,
that whole
it's a
big
creek.
canyon.
if you zoom in all the way on it, it's an actual like labeled creek.
But it's like a channel and it's super green
Right.
down on the bottom. So
But
you
the
know
thing
there's
is
water
that-
in it.
Which is there's multiple of those all over because you and I ran into. Remember when we were doing that like scouting video, and you and I found that random cut that was full of water too. It was nasty,
Yeah.
full of bugs and stuff.
Yeah. Which
I'm sure there's those
where was that?
all over.
Oh,
the
now I
place.
remember.
It was
That was
way more south.
that was where that was that a dead like moo cow or was that a dead
It was a dead elk.
dead elk that was laying
Yeah.
down there? That there was it looked like there might have been a couple, like a little graveyard area. It's crazy.
It could have been like Ramsey's always talked about this place in the mountains that he hunts, where the animals go to die, called what do they call it?
Boneyard.
The bone. I thought they called it
Yeah.
like the death kitchen or something, which you're aware of as well.
Yeah.
You've never
I
found
told
it.
him where it was.
You've never found it though.
I haven't really also looked that hard for it.
In the
'Cause
mount-
I
in
wonder
the
if you could
mountains?
find like horns and stuff if you would
In the
find
mountains?
it. Yeah.
You and I walked in it. Which one are you talking about? There's one up where we go.
On the off the backside of a plateau.
So
Oh. Yeah, I don't
where
know.
do you remember where me and you went when it was just us two where we saw all the deer? There's that road that turns to the right. God damn it, Hazel. Hold on.
The producer's having dog problems. Oh, she's running away with a cord. What is that cord for?
His phone.
Oh. Oh no, his phone got
I'm glad
unplugged.
all
Is
of
that
this
the
on
is that
camera.
the whiskey trail you're talking about?
Where your dad's friends.
Yeah. Oh.
So if right in that area, that big flat,
Yeah.
the hill up on top of that.
Okay. Yeah, we never
It's
went
back.
there.
It's way back up in there.
We never went there.
Yeah, I don't think Ramsey. I mean, that's a long
Did we
hike.
did we kind of make the assumption, if I remember correctly, on that scout because of the marks on the one of the skulls of that? elk carcass that it might have been a lion kill?
I don't remember. That's a long time ago now. I
thought
to
we
relook
did.
at the.
Because you guys assumed that deer that you saw, that coyote, or that deer head that you guys randomly had show up in front of you guys driving.
Oh yeah.
That had to have been a cat kill.
What did we confirm on that, Ramsey? We've told that story before where we were hunting, and then we drove into that certain part of the property, and when we came back to go out the gate, there was just a deer head laying in the road, like a fresh killed deer.
You asked me where that was.
No, I'm asking you, did we decide those coyotes or
It had to have been a cat.
Cat kill, mountain lion carried it.
wild though, right? I mean, I look back, I forget about that.
Do you
That
think
was
do
wild.
you think a coyote could carry like a full like deer, like a buck head?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
So what you meant to say then was it was a cat kill, but a coyote carry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that not what
No,
it
you
is?
said
You said-
cat
you said
kill,
opposite
mountain
of that.
lion carry.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm a little.
So I want to ask you guys if this is even a subject you want to get into because it's a little bit controversial. Did I say that wrong?
You said it weird.
Controversial?
Do I need to
There
move?
you
Do
go.
I need to move my mouth like I'm on an old Chinese video? Chinese video movie. You know what I'm talking about?
On the
Look stuff up
subject,
over here.
or on the subject of you guys want to shoulder hunt, it is January 25th or something like that. What's
Nope.
the
Second.
22nd?
Like how you wait
Um,
to look at your phone after I say it.
I don't believe people. Like, here's a funny story from today. So I have this hunch. I've told you about this job that I did earlier. There's nowhere in a manual or anything that says anything about the certain type of snowmobile, whether you can replace a part on it or you have to replace the whole, basically, chassis of it, right?
Sure.
And so I call the people I know at a dealership, and a parts guy answered, and then because the guy that I want to talk to wasn't there, and so I talked to him, and I was like, hey, I'll just say it in the terms it is because it makes more sense to me to say it. Like, I know it's going to confuse people because they don't know what this means, but I was basically like, hey, to replace the heat exchanger on the snowmobile, I can't find it on the parts deal. Does that mean you have to replace the tunnel to replace that too? Which is like crazy. It's like replacing like a frame on a ATV.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he just paused for a while, and he's like, yeah, I think that's right. I think that's that's so you have to replace the tunnel. And so I was like, okay. So then I instantly just texted one of my technician buddies at Polaris, and I was like, hey, and I asked him the same question. So in a roundabout way, to answer your question, I just don't trust anyone. So yeah, I had to look at my phone.
Okay.
What
So-
a tangent.
Yeah. Seriously.
Anyways, my question to you is if you guys want to talk about this or if you think it's too political. I was actually on our favorite Keeping Up with Montana page. I can't even think of what it's called right now. Sorry, my TikTok opened and all right, it's called the hunting page, right?
Hunting.
And there was someone on there that asked a question. Was it the hunting page?
It's so
actually-
hard to find things on
Okay,
there.
yes. This person says, I've got a scheduled day at some and some property for this month for elk. So it must be one of those deals where you sign up. Like, remember how you used to do that with the place you hunted? Where you had to, like, a month before sign in to get on a list to get into a property? Well, they're doing that for shoulder hunts because there is a lot of these properties because the elk are herded up right now. So they're sitting on these properties. And they're basically just saying, has anyone been there just looking to see like what part of the property we should go look to see where the elk are at? And a lot of these comments are very controversial on the shoulder hunt itself. And like, let me read a comment for you. Then don't fill your tag. Plenty of food banks around for you to not starve. Which leads to the question, and I would assume maybe there's another conversation on here. Okay, here's another really good one here. Well, one thing I do know is that every cow that is shot there is a perfectly formed calf. These hunts this late in the year are not anything but reduction of an elk herd. They should never be allowed between that and the wolves the government is killing off our wildlife. I'm not against hunting. I've been hunting for 50 years. Late season, blah, 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 blah. Another guy counters with, that cow was bred in September or early October. Therefore, any cow you've shot in general rifle season was most likely pregnant with a calf. So what is your guys' take on this controversial shoulder season that was real? I mean, I think it's been around, but I feel like it was kind of publicized in the last 3 years. Like it was really pushed, don't you think, in the last 3 years?
Shoulder?
Yeah.
I think shoulder, as far as like a whole, like is gotten a lot more PR than it has for sure. And I don't know if that's an influx of hunters, which could also bring you to the point. I don't know if that's necessarily an influx of hunters in the state of Montana, whether it's an influx of hunters from regular rifle season that were basically unlucky because the numbers are down so much. And, they couldn't, maybe the unit that they've hunted forever is overpopulated with hunters and things like that. So, I mean, there's 1,000 different things I think you could kind of play in here. And I think a lot of it, too, with the PR of it recently is because of how bad the years past have been for hunting. And people are like, well, I live off of game meat, or something, or they just enjoy it so much that they go, I need that fulfillment of having a full freezer at the end of hunting season. And with how bad things have been, I mean, we've all seen it, that maybe, people started shoulder hunting more because of those reasons.
Well, what do you have an opinion yourself, Ramsy, as someone that's participated in it? Like, what is your take on the concept of a shoulder hunt itself?
As far as the area that me and Sean hunt the most, during general rifle season, I see, I don't know, anywhere from 70 to 80% bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Between September and, let's say, early to mid-November. Now, I've gone out there, before we ever shoulder hunted out there, we used to cow hunt and we'd go drive around just for the hell of it. It seems that about that mid-November to late November till whenever shoulder season ends, it completely flip-flops. You see probably 70 to 90% cows and way less bulls. And according to the numbers on FWP, they're overpopulated in that area. So if that's the time they're going to be in that area, then I'm all for the shoulder season. I mean, God, that got loud.
Sean went out one door and then in another.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm in a conflicted place because what I would, as a morally, the way that I look at ethics is different from the way everyone looks, right? And I think that goes for hunting as a whole. I do have, because Dad used to talk about the old Gardner late hunts, right, in late February, and how people would just be like gutting elk up everywhere, and there would just be full-formed calves laying all over the ground. And that I've always in my mind had like kind of a weird look at it, even before I got real spiritual with hunting. And so like nowadays, yeah, I would still probably not feel super comfortable in that situation, but I'm right along with Sean in where we had an unsuccessful as far as meat in the freezer season. And just like Sean, Ramsy and I depend on having elk in the freezer. We pretty much ate up, I would say, 2 elk last year? And now not having any, it's almost like a desperation mode of we need to go hunting. As if there's a season provided, we need to go to be able to fill the freezer. Now, I think it should be restructured. I don't feel like elk hunting should start August 15th and run until February 15th. That seems like a crazy amount.
Long ass season.
That seems like a crazy amount of pressure on one species.
I would agree with that. I mean, the thing about the shoulder season, though, that like from what people probably don't care about to like actually pay attention to is the fact that like FWP wouldn't make it the season go from, 2 months after rifle ends. They wouldn't do that. Well, I guess it's 3 months technically, right? Yeah. They wouldn't do that if the numbers were sustainable, right? I mean, they do take a lot of time to do the surveys of and I'm not saying the phone call surveys, like the actual like biology surveys they do for like
in the field.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, I get the whole issue that people have with like shooting the pregnant cows and things like that. I mean, what that comment said is accurate.
You're shooting 2 elk for every.
Yeah, you could for sure in regular rifle season shoot a pregnant cow. Now it's not as far along as it would be, in January. But
am I the only one? Sorry to interrupt, but am I the only one that is curious on the biology and the reasoning behind like why there's not a late season bull permit? Because everywhere I hunt, just like Ramsey said, I'm seeing 3 bulls for every cow. And I just want to know like what, I understand that they're the breeders, but don't we also want to keep the baby maker, the actual vessel for the baby? And
right. That'd be actually look up, guy, because you look up when the first shoulder hunt actually like started in Montana, because I'd be curious, because like you kind of can look at it in the same aspect as the big tag that your dad drew this year.
Yeah.
That tag was when he was, I don't know if were you guys alive when that tag was a general season? Or at least not, I guess wouldn't say alive, but
I don't think it ever
hunting.
has been, has it?
I thought I've heard that it used to be a general
there
tag.
wasn't elk there, so there always has been a draw. And then now there's a influx of elk.
I have a buddy that owns a property that's between that one and the other big one, and
it's possible. I don't know.
Because like, what did they say? Like 2000 was about the time that elk started rolling into those regions.
Well, I know that Dad drew that tag, and what do you want to say, Rams? Like 2010.
No.
When Roger was hunting with us, that was a long time ago. 2010, I was a sophomore in high school. Roger hasn't hunted with us since, probably my 3rd or 4th year hunting. So I think I'm right about 2009, 2010.
Maybe.
2008. And Dad drew the tag then.
2015 is when they first introduced shoulder seasons.
Really? I guess we never paid attention to it. Maybe.
But it was only in a few
specific
areas.
regions.
Yeah.
So like,
and it's always been mostly private land, right? Or exclusively?
Yeah, which is crazy
this
to me
year.
because
by 2019, the seasons were extended to 42 hunting districts.
So the fact that you said 42 hunting districts? You said 42 hunting districts? How many are there in the state of Montana?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I don't actually know that.
I wouldn't know that.
Okay,
answer.
but in that case, that's saying that 42, which 42's got to be a large percentage of the regions, I would assume.
Right.
That's showing that there's a large cow population in a higher percentage of all regions in Montana.
Well, and I think we've all definitely been in a situation where, you just got our producer just on a bad switch. Sean loves to do that. He loves to call Ramsey.
I do.
But we've been places like you go through western Montana at a certain time of year. You're going through those big wide open meadows at the base of the mountains. You're going to see thousands of elk, a ton of cows.
Mm-hmm.
But where we're at, which I think we encompass, I think we hunt a large, vast area of land that stretches probably hundreds of miles, in my opinion, from like the most southern place that we hunt all the way up to the most northern place that we hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And in most of those places, I'm seeing stuff with horns again more than I'm seeing stuff. So like,
I would say that as far as the most western part that we hunt, I think that's the opposite there. I think we see more
which is
cows.
very true.
But I mean, here's the thing too: is like I asked Ramsey when we were out Saturday. I said, I wonder why, besides like obviously like waste management stuff, why they don't do a late season for like does in some region, because there is, there is for sure an issue with does in a lot.
As far
of
as
regions.
mule deer,
Yeah.
I don't think you're ever gonna. And I would say that we're potentially gonna be in a scary place mule deer wise, because stuff's getting bad. Where in the next 12 to 36 months, there's going to be potentially B tags taken off the table, and this draw thing that they're talking about is going to happen.
I don't necessarily know if, for how extreme the draw, for how extreme the draw deal is, I don't know if it'll go that far because of the comment. Did you read any of the comments on the backlash from public opinion on that? It was. Horrible.
I'm sure there's a lot of. The more and more I'm seeing more people on par with shutting down some mule deer hunting.
Like I said though, I don't think they'll ever go as far as like what they pitched last year.
They'll
probably go.
Which, to remind the audience, was essentially
every other.
You put in for a tag. It's
5 years.
It's a certain. No, it was 3.
3 years.
It was a certain percentage chance to even draw it in the first place. If you do draw it, then you're not able to draw that tag again for 3 years. So,
and that's all regions.
Does that mean you wouldn't be able to put in for it for 3 years, or you're able to accrue bonus points over 3 years?
That's what it said. You would not be able to put in for it. And I guess I don't know, because I don't know if they dug that deep into it for like specifications. If you could, like, it'd be. I guess this would be a question for somebody who's drawn a goat tag in Montana. After they filled that goat tag, can you still buy bonus points for those 7 years?
You can.
So then
you can still buy it even though you can't draw it for 7 years.
So then in that case, yeah, you could still buy bonus points.
So how does that work though? Like, what is the point of buying the bonus points? So that means that you get out of your 3 years and you can just draw the tag right away.
It's the same thing you could say for why do you buy moose bonus points every year? You got a high percentage of not drawing.
But people are going to have a stuff. A mule deer has been something that's been, and not to go completely off the tangent of the shoulder hunt, but that's been something that's been a staple for everyone's
life
ability to survive in Montana.
I would say
years.
Mule deer.
I bet they don't get rid of doe tags.
Which is, again, I have a hard time understanding why we're okay with slaughtering the female species of animals while they're, and mule deer is a much different story. There is a shortage of bucks. There is. It's just plain and simple. It's tough to find mature mule deer anymore. But as far as elk go, I don't get why it just doesn't make any sense. I'm here to play devil's advocate and say I don't know if I'm educated enough, but just from what I see we spend a lot of days in the woods. Why don't we do, like, I'm talking something small.
It'd be a really
20 tags for a 3 or 4 week season. And I guess like there's probably something that goes into it. Well, they're getting out of they're already out of the rut come rifle season. So that's not a good excuse either.
Right. What do you think the larger population is in Montana? Elk or mule deer? That'd be a good Google.
I don't know.
You really think so?
I think it's elk.
But with all the regulations and everything
I think it's
they're
whitetail.
putting on
No,
mule deer, it's got to be elk. With everything that they're doing with mule deer, it's got to be. For having a hunting season from August 15th to February.
But they still claim like the elk is on the decline, don't they?
All right.
Which I don't understand.
140,000 plus elk.
Okay.
I haven't looked at deer yet.
Switches to
do antelope too. Do antelope too. Which I would assume antelope is the lowest, or
whitetail might take that.
This is interesting. This is suspenseful.
Before he tells us, I would bet whitetail
hovering around 250,000
mule deer.
Mule deer.
And you said 140 on elk?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
So then the fact is that you can hunt the one with what you said 240?
140 and 250.
So 110,000
more
animals, but you can hunt the ones with 110,000 less.
Do you think that's because mule deer are easily more accessible?
Antelope is even higher than elk at 155,000.
What about whitetail?
My thing
what
is,
about
though,
turkeys?
from like where I came from, kind of like west central Montana, I guess you'd say central Montana, like elk hunting was realistically unheard of.
213,000.
Really?
There's more whiteys than mule deer in Montana?
No, they had 250.
37,000 less.
Yeah. Oh, more than elk, though.
There's about 507 See, this one's different. This one is actually from. Let me go to FWP.
I just saw that Joel Embiid dropped 70 points tonight on the Spurs. That's pretty crazy.
But as I was saying though, the like Central Montana where I came from, like a lot of guys that I knew that were in the hunting realm, all they did was hunt deer.
Yeah.
I just got that as well.
What's that? Oh, the notification. Well, Ramsey and I have always said that too on the podcast. Like, we grew up as deer hunters, and elk hunting was hard to get access unless you could beg Dad to go take.
Just in case you guys wanted to know, turkeys are 120,000.
I would have guessed it would have been an astronomically much higher number than that. What animal do you think there's the most of in Montana? Then that leads to that question.
Cows.
No, we're not gonna do cows. I'm talking wild animals.
Oh
Probably mule deer.
no,
There's got to be.
maybe
What
cotton-
else?
it's got to be a
Cows.
bird.
Coyotes?
It has to be a bird.
Coyotes?
No, it's got to be a bird.
Yeah, but
Oh, you know what it is? It's freaking gophers.
I'm talking like
It's prairie
wild.
dogs or
I'm
gophers?
talking actual wild game, huntable wild game, not varmints.
It's not ducks. It's not geese.
How many coyotes are there?
It's not coyotes. There's no way it's coyotes.
Dude, you'd be surprised, man. Trappers trap a lot of fucking coyotes, and they're still, you see hundreds.
It's got to be mule deer, man.
I'm still looking it up.
It's all right. Well, we'll just grab our own phones and look it up since the lookup guy.
Like how he's
Oh, wow, Sean
wow, I
has
like
entered the
this.
chat.
I like this.
Ramsey, I wish you could put Ramsey in the other corner.
You really think it's coyotes, though?
I don't know.
I don't think it.
I think you're probably like, I would assume gophers and prairie dogs is probably higher than anything,
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like game animals,
or
like
the
you said, cottontails.
cottontail rabbit.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like true game animals, it's probably the mule deer. I mean, honestly,
Not moose, not sheep, not.
and it's not like as the resident.
I'm just
bird guy
surprised with turkey.
in our,
I see a lot of damn turkeys. That's
as the resident bird guy in our well, you two are resident bird guys in our group. It's
but
not.
birds migrate.
It's not right, but I mean, like,
It's not pheasant. It's not grouse.
no,
What about coyotes?
I'm still looking it up. There's not like a definitive answer.
it's got to be mule deer, which is crazy.
But I guess coyote's not really a wild game animal anyways. It's an invasive, not an invasive species, but it's a non-game species.
Does that honestly shock you, like legitimately shock you about the fact that the largest species held in Montana has the shortest hunting season for them?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
No,
is
I guess I would say they're not the shortest because antelopes technically.
So that raises a question, just like I said, and again, this isn't us being like we know it all. Our answer is the answer to everything, but I'm looking at it from a reasonable standpoint. Why do we have a 6-month season for an animal that's the lowest population big game species, other than like again moose, mountain goat, sheep?
Yeah, that would because he said
Of the big three,
antelope, Ramsey were
Big
more
four.
than elk, right?
yeah, there are more than elk.
Mhm.
Everything was more.
So
than
elk's the lowest, like as far as
So we have a 6-month season on elk,
average big game.
More than antelope, but less than whitetail.
and we have
No, I thought
essentially.
I thought you said whitetail were 213 or
200. I said elk are more than antelope, less than whitetail. So it goes mule deer, whitetail, elk, antelope.
I thought you said
Oh,
antelope
I
were
thought-
150.
I thought antelope was more than elk.
I think they were.
120, wasn't it?
No,
No, you said 150.
No, that was elk.
No, you said 140. You said 140 for elk, 150 for
Nah,
antelope.
you guys are lying.
I'm
the,
serious.
The
You said-
lookup guy over here.
Oh
needs
my
to
god,
double
redo
check.
it. You should
I
just
like,
keep.
you know
your
what's really
tabs
funny
open.
is he's got a nice computer there that he could be doing. All
I
this
can't
stuff.
do it on the computer because.
Do you need a second computer?
The podcast.
Do you need a
Yeah,
second
but
screen?
you can minimize that.
We need to get Ramsey a second.
I want a
Dash-
Microsoft Surface.
I don't know what that is.
Why? Because
But if you
you're
got-
not in the NFL.
If you got a
Yeah,
desktop,
but I could do my Adobe on there too.
why couldn't you just do your? You could just do a second desktop or a monitor and then do dual
Do you
monitor.
want a monitor?
No,
I'll bring
I
that.
got a phone. It's
Okay.
fine.
Anyway,
The phone's not very quick. Not gonna lie.
no,
The
clearly
picture in picture is working great.
he's
for
probably
me.
because he's Snapchatting in between looking.
I'm
up
really
this.
not.
But
What were we arguing about?
Elk and antelopes.
no, we were trying to figure out what the largest population of animals.
That's not a question you can answer on Google.
No, the thing at hand here was you were saying that antelope was the lowest when we think that you said that it was elk was the lowest. So you looked that up. We're going to go back to our conversation of we're talking about the detrimental decline of mule deer. how there's still 250,000.
Yeah, 155. So elk's the lowest.
You've got a species.
And they
that
have
we're
the
hunting.
longest hunting season for them.
Yes, and we got a species of. I mean, you're hunting mule deer archery and which a lot of people are really not archery hunting mule deer.
No, it's
On
more,
a much smaller
they're
scale.
not
People
out.
are.
They're not out there. Like I would say, the majority aren't out there actively. You're so proud of that. They're not. I would say the majority's not out there actively hunting mule deer. I think they're out there elk hunting, and then they get the opportunity. But there
yeah,
are
100%.
probably plenty of people that are like, no,
I've been in that situation.
I want to
many
take a
times.
lot of time this year to go out and shoot a.
Matt and I
mule
used to
deer.
hunt elk at a spot where you would hunt a natural crossing, and a lot of times mule deer would come right through. And if I was in a position where I would hunt mule deer myself, I'm pretty sure there was several
It's
times
too
I
good
would
to
have.
hunt mule deer.
It's not too good. It's just that, again, I will openly say I don't like the taste of mule deer, therefore I don't shoot them. That's just what it is. That's what we've talked about.
I think it's just
But that would be a really good question to ask. Like a.
I wish I want to get a
somebody-
biologist here someday and ask all these questions because it's like I'm not trying to shit on what you guys are doing, but
I just want answers.
it's just like I'm a guy that wants to ask questions.
Yeah. Because the fact of the matter is that you're allowing the longest hunting season by what, double at least, or no, it had to be
100,000.
triple. No, I'm saying triple
Oh,
the
length of season,
the length of season.
Well, think about it this way: you're able to hunt mule deer September to the end of
Let
November,
me
so 3 months.
check this elk.
You're able to hunt elk twice. It's double.
It is double.
It's double. I don't know. And again, I think
2022 they counted 141,000, give or take.
I think that we benefit from if there's a season open, we're going to do it because that's just
In 2023 there was 175,000.
elk.
Yeah.
So
we
they're
dropped
growing.
30,000.
No.
we went
they
up 30,000?
Gained 34,000.
Which I believe. So
Wait, wait. Say those numbers again. I must have misheard you.
In 2022 it was 141. In 2023
Oh, I thought you
it was
said. I thought you said
175.
2024. It was one. Okay.
they wouldn't have those stats out yet.
No.
I mean, yeah, I guess I could see the are they I want to ask too is like, are you guys worried about
So then that's
there's an article right here. It's Montana Public Radio is the website. And
First switch to him, by the way.
no, it's
he's had a
not.
couple.
I don't talk enough.
Also, did you guys plan your brown sweatshirts?
No.
These are the new hoodies.
I would have wore one, but I don't.
Brought to
have
you by,
one, so.
Rock Creek Billy.
Anyway, Ellis Julin is the name of this person that's speaking. He says, according to data from Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, they estimate the state's elk population is around 175,000 animals, but they would like to see a population closer to about 92,000.
I want why? Are they getting that much feedback from farmers and stuff?
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean,
I do hear a lot of it myself.
I know, but I'm not obviously a farmer or rancher. But from what I've heard from talking with a lot of landowners, that deer mess shit up more. I mean, as far as like financial things, more than elk do. I mean, elk mess fences up, right? But
Yeah.
And this
Elk won't
has to
chew up-
do. This is the conversation about private land allowing 3 hunters onto their property. That's where this conversation is. There's a whole.
Oh, there's a thing where they're trying to say where landowners lawfully have to let people on. Is that what you're saying?
No, they're trying to. Let me see here. The bills moving forward would provide public access opportunities. They want to make it easier for hunters to hunt elk on private land where the elk are increasingly being found.
Yeah,
we
which it is.
all knew that.
Yeah,
Package
there's-
of bills brought forward by a group called the Citizens Elk Management Coalition, which is a citizen working group that was formed after negotiations over the issue last session really broke down between these two interest groups and lawmakers, yada, 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 yada. I don't know what the whole bill is. But
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if Ramsy and I had private access on our mountain hunting spot, we would shoot bulls every single year.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is probably the consensus from a lot of public land hunters. But
then again, some of the private land we do have, it's really hard to get a tag for those areas.
and sometimes the hunting's tough too.
Not necessarily. I mean, the archery tag isn't,
But it's hard to hunt archery out there.
as we found.
Well, yeah. So I think in consensus, I mean, like what I would say is, I think that we should probably get away from the August to archery season deal. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I haven't actually. The one thing I was going to say is I haven't heard of a lot of guys that
Are successful during shoulder.
no.
Oh,
are
this is that.
successful dirt before that season.
It's the deal where if they let 3 people hunt on their property, they get an elk tag.
Oh yeah, that's been a big thing. That's been a
Bulls
big
for
talk.
billionaires.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Really?
Yeah, which is
That's very controversial.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's what they do with.
Because, well, and the thing they're fighting about right now is whether or not does the landowner get to pick the 3 people, or does the FWP get to pick the 3 people? Because just humans in their nature, if I was a landowner and I had elk tags, I'd tell my 3 buddies that they get to come on there. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, or
3 people that you know and you trust.
or
coming
three,
on your
or
property.
3 family
my
members.
question for that.
Right.
My question for that would be: is that like in a draw region?
Oh, I would.
Oh, it's all over. Yeah,
So like you're saying like obviously
it would be even
ran-
as yeah
the
it would
area
be-
that you outfit
it would be just like that.
Like for the rifle tag is very difficult to get.
Yeah.
Right. So that would be like the owner going.
telling us 3 right here. You guys get to
But
come out
do
here.
we have to draw the tag?
No,
No.
the government would give you the tag.
Really?
Yeah,
So like the drawing comes completely out of it, but
Yeah.
for like everybody else that wants to hunt that region and like use 2 leggings to like potentially
still have
get
to
that
put in for the
that
draw.
rifle
Yeah,
tag,
yeah.
they'll have seriously.
These are just added to.
So this
Wow.
this is something that's been a conflict, not conflict, but it's definitely been controversial
Jeez.
over time. That's happened for years, where that legitimately happens, and it's speculated that it happens real close to home. That's why, because you see people. I mean, there's 2 options here. There's either people are poaching, right? That would mean you're getting an elk every year, which is tough. I mean, it's really tough, especially if you know where people are hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see people that are continuously shooting elk every year in one region, and a region that you know is hard to draw, and they happen to be landowners. So you know that there's probably a lot of deals going on all over. I'm sure there is.
That's like
I think it's borderline sketchy.
that's the most like how do I say this? Like Epstein style thing in the hunting world I've ever
Yeah.
heard of. I'm serious.
Because you know what you really develop with that kind of deal is it's not these 50, 100-year landowners that are benefiting from this. Because a lot of those guys probably don't hunt anyways.
No.
Which some might. I know that the landowner where we guide, if he drew a tag, he'd be stoked. But I think what it really develops and benefits is turning these regions and these ranches into hunting clubs. Because if you're a billionaire or millionaire, they can go buy 20,000 acres. Well, you could just have your 3 buddies get those 3 tags, and you get a free tag every year on a no draw.
Do you think this might be kind of like their way of trying to like give back to the landowner preference tags that they've kind of like basically
But
kinda
it doesn't
run down?
benefit the people that got the preference tags, especially when you had like outfitter preference tags. The way that the world is going, especially in Montana, is the death of outfitting. And I think it's easier for the government to say there's more money to come in if I just say, hey, this guy can come in from Florida, spend $20 million, and we'll just give you a tag if you let a couple people on.
I mean, but that the reason for that is because of the negative backlash that is represented over outfitting is because most people that talk badly on outfitting have no idea what it actually is.
What the benefit?
And-
But there is a point too where a lot of, and I see the pride thing, where as a Montanan, most Montanans really don't have good land access.
yeah, it's
they
really
really don't.
prideful
And
thing.
so there's a thing where it's frustrating to say, down the road, these guys are able to go pay $10,000 and go shoot something, where I don't get the chance to do anything, where I'm a resident and pay taxes in the state.
What was that one that you were telling me about that was like a group of like 70 plus or something guys that was a thing that you had heard about in Montana?
Oh, I don't know the details specifically. It's been told to me third hand, so I don't really want to speak on it if I say something wrong.
right.
I'm not going to say where it's at because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think the gist of it is an actual hunting club with around 100 members that pay a fee in a different state, and essentially
That's a leasing fee, right?
yeah. Well,
Or are they buying the property?
they have a membership through it. I think the way it works, and if I'm totally wrong, I'm totally wrong. Someone
Whatever.
can call me out. But the way I've understood it is, if there's all these members part of this club, they're paying a subscription to the club itself, right? And then the club board is buying land, right? So they go buy land, and then they regulate who is allowed to go hunt every year and how many, which is, it falls within state laws, but it's going to make a lot of problems.
Like, so technically the board becomes an outfitter, but only for the members of the board.
Yeah, essentially. And that's happening all over the world. We talk about these guys that have been on the podcast that do these hunting clubs in, like, I've had genuine clients that hunt, like, let's say Alabama or something. And again, if I said the wrong state and it's not a legal thing, I apologize. I'm just saying somewhere down south, they were hunting a hunting club, and there is anywhere from 50 to 75 people that pay yearly fees.
It's like a subscription. Yeah.
To go hunt a certain weekend a year, and there's, like, you can't shoot anything smaller than a 6 point, 8 point, whatever they call them, or else you'll get removed from.
Yeah.
And that's making its way to Montana, whether people want to agree with it or not.
But I wouldn't say, like, do you think it's like actual Montana, like, born and raised residents doing
I think
that?
it's both. The first time I ever saw this was actually someone Ramsey knows, where they've had an amazing lease, and essentially the one guy would front the money for the whole lease, and then the 10 people would split it up, whoever drew tags, and they were friends, family, whatever like that. And then the one guy was in charge of, like, you know, I'm going to be real upset if you shoot a raghorn or something like that. It had to be mature bulls and stuff like that. That's the first time I ever heard about it, and that was
probably 5-6 years.
5-6 years ago. And I hear more, being in an outfitter, being a guide and being around this kind of stuff, I see it more and more every year because neighboring places are taking that on. I really don't think and again, maybe I'm biased, but to the community of Montana, the biggest threat is no longer, and there was a time where there was really awful guides that did really awful stuff, right? Like taking money where they shouldn't have taken money, taking animals, like, or like shoving it in people's faces and stuff. You know, like, there was some bad attitudes, but the biggest threat to hunting in Montana right now is not outfitting. It is hunting clubs, and really, I mean, the progressive, I don't know how to say this, like, pretty much, I don't know how to say this without being, like, kind of political, but again, I think that in a lot of realms, the fishing game does a lot of great things for Montana. I think that there's a lot of good, but I think that every year it does feel as if we are losing less and less rights as Montana natives.
For sure. And I mean, honestly, like, for you guys, I mean, I know your guys' answers, but, like, can you imagine being somebody like in that, where you're like, you go out, like, in this hunting club and you pay, let's just say $1,000 for the year, right?
I think a lot of people are apt for it. I know.
And you go, oh, you get September 12th only. You get one day. If you want to spend another $1,000, we can give you the 13th. But, like, I mean, that pressure that you have on you, I mean, everybody's got stuff going on. Everybody's got families that they're dealing with. Like, you know, it's like stuff like that. It's like, I get planning hunting trips, of course. Like, we do it. Like, typically, though, how it works out for us is we know that we're going to end up going at least 70% of the at least the weekends in hunting season.
Yeah.
And so we will make that plan the week of where we're going and what we're doing. I mean, obviously the region area is always generalized, but as far as, like, our plan, but even if let's just say Ramsey and I decided to go hunt a completely different region that neither of us have been to, we'd obviously plan for it a little bit, but I guarantee it wouldn't be for 2 weeks before we'd maybe sit down and figure it out. Can you imagine being somebody who's like, I can only hunt this magnificent place for 2 days. Like, I have to everything's got to be planned out for like 8 months, you know? Like, that would just drive me crazy.
Well, I've done that with fishing before. Not that I paid for it, but, you know, you get 2 days to do it. You know, I mean, like, there's definitely things that's like, you know what, if I get 2 days opportunity for it, I'll still do it. I will say, I know people in Montana that have actually had this conversation with me, that they're so frustrated with their ability to get access and maybe they haven't shot an elk in 5 or 6 years or something like that, that they would genuinely, if they had the money, probably sign up for the same stuff. But for me, that takes away from my morals, because if I'm going to tell you, Ramsey, that I go out and I put a lot of effort into hunting to kill an elk because I don't want to go potentially go buy a beef or something like that, spending that kind of money personally in Montana doesn't make sense for my morals, as well as I just doesn't, the experience isn't the same for me.
And I want to clarify something too with what I just said. That obviously, if I were to like get the opportunity to have like an Alaska tag or something like that, obviously I would spend time, mapping out and figuring my hunt out months in advance, right? But to me, what I was saying earlier, that's different, because in that case, more than likely, that property that you can be hunting is within a 100-mile radius of you, or if let's just say 400-mile radius, it's a 3.5-hour, 4-hour drive, right? That's different for me than you going like, hey, I got a caribou hunt in Alaska that I'm going to, I got a plan for this. Yeah, that's way different to me than like, I'm going to go shoot something that I can shoot on a public land spot that I've hunted for 10 years before this, but I can only hunt these 2 days. That's what doesn't make sense to me.
And I think it's tough, and who knows, maybe we're being a little drastic, and maybe their stuff is like you actually get a hunt a week or something. I don't know what it is.
I mean, it could be,
but
still.
I think at the end of the day, that takes away from what I don't know.
I would say that I think the reason that we have a hard time at this, and I would even think Matt would definitely agree with this too, is because like us hunting in Montana, I don't think any of us would ever want to pay to do that.
But at the same time, we've been talking a lot about, and Matt's been bringing up a lot because he's been wanting to do some stuff for a long time, caribou hunt. He's doing a spring goose hunt this year.
I guess I should clarify, pay for a hunt in Montana.
There's a lot of time. I know, but like think about this from, you're thinking about it as a Montana native. Think about like that North Dakota resident. Do you think they have the same thing? We're like, oh, I don't want to pay money, but they'll happily go. Like I will happily go pay a fishing guide to go catch tarpon in Florida.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I will happily.
No. I'm there. I'm saying just like outside of Montana.
So it's like I know, but like look at like how can we be? It's almost hypocritical to be like I would go any other state and hire a guide, but like,
I wouldn't say that. I would say,
or I would pay the deer lease or whatever I was just talking about, the hunting camp, but in Montana I just couldn't do it. And I get what you're saying, yes, because it is our home. It is that we have the rights of a resident.
I would just say the reason I say that is because I feel like it's a waste of money in my own state, because like the outcome I could have on like a place that I would pay $5,000 for to have at least a hunt on for like a specific 2-week period or something that does produce big bucks, I would feel less about myself in that instance, because the areas that I can hunt that are public, I just need to put more time in to be able to find that mature buck. And it's like, it's a lack on me as a hunter. That's why I have that. But I mean, obviously like Alaska, I'm not just going to buy a plane ticket to Alaska with my rifle and go, I'm going to go caribou hunting. Like I have no idea where to go, Which
is a good point. Why you would hunt, why you would hire a guide in the first place. But I think that, and I think this is very political and it was very opinionated. So people listen to it are probably going to have their own opinions, and I would hope that again at the end of the day they understand that we are the Bull Mountain Brothers are not the answer to the problems or the success of animal populations and stuff in Montana. All we can do is say like this is what we see and this is what doesn't make sense or makes sense. I think that's a good way to wrap it up. We didn't run any ad reads again.
Let's just do them all right now.
We'll do them all right now again. I'm going to talk about. Oh, hell yeah.
That was a full 360.
We'll do another full 360. Oh, hell yeah. Still quite possibly one of the best things that we've run into as far as for, and I will say, I am back on the meal prep. Oh, Ramsey's doing his full zoom here. Oh, and he's zooming back out. Oh Hell Yeah seasoning made with 5 total ingredients, all made in-house. Okay, of course, the ingredients themselves are not made in-house, but it is packaged together in one place in the perfect conclusion, the perfect, what would you say here? Like everything that's in here is the perfect combination.
Bradley is struggling a little bit with this.
It's not that I'm struggling. It's just that what I want to say is, I don't know how Ramsy's doing, but I have recently gotten back on, as I said, kind of at the season finale. We have a lot of potential elk archery clients this year. I think that I need to be more physically fit to give people a better experience. I'm back on meal prep. I'm back to the gym. And this is really going to be helpful to add, because that's where you struggle a lot with weight loss, in my opinion, is making stuff taste good. And I tried I put some Oh Hell Yeah seasoning on chicken that I made on the Blackstone, and it really enhanced. I just did like a mustard binder with this, and it really enhanced the flavor. And I think it's going to help out a lot. Now there is, we talked about a percentage. A serving size is 7% of your daily sodium intake. So this is something, as a meal prepper, I am watching sodium, especially have high blood pressure. So I think that as long as you're drinking water and watching sodium on other things, because you gotta watch soy sauce, rice, stuff like that. This is a perfect addition to whatever meal you're gonna cook. And I think that I made carne asada the other day, flavor enhanced. We did a little TikTok about a week ago. I made tenderloin steaks, and they turned out great. So yeah, go check out Oh Hell Yeah seasoning. Where you can get it right now, we don't have it on our website yet, but you can go to Bear the Voice 3 on TikTok. He's got it in his shop. Go check it out. That's Oh Hell Yeah seasoning.
And Ramsy's gonna throw me under the bus here for our great friends over at Right on Trek. Now, where are you going here? Am I supposed to fall? So these.
What do you got there?
I got the chicken Alfredo pasta. This stuff here is.
He's got it. You're good.
Am I good? I mean, we've said it time and time again. We have ventured through most of these bag food, dehydrated, all that outdoors cuisine, you could call it. And truly, you can't get a better meal from any other brand than Right on Trek. And it's not even me just because we're affiliates here. I'm being dead serious that the taste of this food tastes like you just pulled it out of a kitchen, or you ordered it, or your own kitchen, or you ordered it from a restaurant. This stuff is, with these the one package meals now that they're doing, which is phenomenal. 510 calories right here in this chicken Alfredo pasta. That's a solid calorie intake for one person.
Absolutely.
The 2 people meals, which they used to only have, were, basically double that. And it was a little difficult for a guy to eat the whole thing. And them coming out with these, kind of individual package meals for yourself is a phenomenal benefit. The packaging is biodegradable. Everything.
What is the weight? Does the package have a weight on it? Or are we going to have to weigh it ourselves?
It says BioTray 2.0.
3.5 ounces.
Where do you read that at?
Right on the front here.
Ours is 4 ounces.
4 ounces.
Which is a really competitive.
Ounces are the game when you're doing some deep backpack hunts, for sure.
Well, and I will say, a little disappointed in my guys for not trying some of these new flavors last weekend.
God.
What do we have behind me? We got beef stroganoff and chicken coconut curry.
Somewhere there was a pad thai, I think. Pad thai something.
Cauliflower forest chicken risotto over here.
Oh, nice. I think that's what Sean has as well. Oh, no, he's got chicken Alfredo. So a lot of stuff we haven't tried.
Phenomenal food here, though. You guys seriously got to give it a try. And I do believe you can get access to these guys off our link tree. Is that correct?
Yeah, so you can...
What's the cook time on yours?
7.
I will also say I think the cook times are shorter than most of the other.
Yeah, because normally you'd see like 5 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15 is
Yeah.
pretty common.
I mean, well, I guess, yeah, not even 5. I haven't seen one that was 5.
No.
I don't know why I said
Well, I'm really
that.
excited for your guys' video that I want you to do because I want to show how we are capitalizing on, you know, because like I said in a previous video, they've complained to the hunting community has complained that they don't want to carry around a pot or something. Where I think we've come up with the perfect solution, and we're gonna show that in video. I'm not gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
Which is just as easy as anything else, if not easier, to provide yourself with food, especially if there's a second person with you. But that's right on track. Check them out. Like Sean said, the link tree, you can go in there. It's just going to send you to their website for now. Eventually, what we're hoping is we'll actually have them on our website along with the Oh Hell Yeah seasoning to where you can actually purchase through us, get shipped from us. If you're local to the area that we're in, the Billings area, it's something that we could just, bring to your house and drop it off same day if it really you guys need to get out on a trip. So that's a hope that we have down the road. And then last but not least, our friends over at Tier 1 Fence, give our friend Taryn, who's been on the podcast, a call and get yourself in for some of the best well-placed fencing that I've ever seen. I've talked about this before.
Well placed.
I've never in my life thought that I would get to an age where I was like, wow, that is a really well-crafted
nice
fence. That is a nice fence. And with these guys, I say it every time. They do is that cedar fence that would be the picket?
Yeah.
The cedar fence, it just looks really uniform, really attractive. And I think that these guys are very trustworthy and give you guys the best deal that they can give you. So give them a call. You can check out their contact information on their Facebook page, Tier 1 Fence. And so yeah, that's all of our ad reads for now. We're trying to nail down that fourth one, but it's been kind of they've been busy.
Mm-hmm.
They're you guys know who they are, but we just want to kind of take it to the new level with them. We'll get to that fourth ad read here soon. I think for today we're pretty much have nothing else to say. I think that was a fun conversation. I think when the three of us get in studio, we're able to have some more deeper talks because there's nothing else going on. There's no interview. There's no trying to keep up with what's going on in our life. So it was fun to talk about something that I don't think we've really dove in deep that before, have we? About our feelings on shoulder hunts?
No.
We've talked about the fact that we've done them.
It's our first hunting podcast of 2024, too.
Yeah, to actually talk about hunting. That is true. So let us know what you guys think. Comment. We just did a kind of a fun little shirt giveaway on Facebook the other day, which is kind of fun. I don't know if Sean thought that I was if I was bullying him this whole week, but I was just trying to have some fun with just kind of the fun. I think that it was a podcast where we kind of talked about things we don't usually normally talk about, and so it was fun to just kind of badger Sean a little bit about not ever seeing secondhand lions. We did get a lot of feedback.
Actually, we did find out, though, that I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did you find that out?
Because he started explaining the movie to me more, and I was like, "Oh, it's
where they
like
grow
when
the
they're in
corn?
the bar and they beat the shit out of those greasers,
And then they put meat on their face?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, too, revolving the giveaways.
Clarification: he's seen it on TikTok in clips.
No, not TikTok.
Well, he's seen.
I watched
Anyways.
part of the movie. Anyway,
We should watch it all full. It's a great.
there
movie.
may be another merchandise giveaway on a specific social media page, so be tuned for that.
Really? That's exciting. I think that we decided that we want to give back more.
Yep.
And this is a good way to get people engaged. It's fun when we can have a podcast and then you guys can go comment your thoughts. So we'll keep doing those, I think. And another thing, guys, I know this isn't a huge milestone, but I think it's the start of many milestones, the start of the getting things going. We're at like 96 YouTube subscribers. So that 100 right around the corner. Probably not going to do a giveaway for 100, but it's cool to see that we're actually growing the YouTube channel finally.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys for checking those videos out. Ramsey puts a lot of hard work into getting those looking good. So keep watching, as much as we want everyone to watch or listen to the audio versions while they're working or in the kitchen or whatever they're doing. The YouTube ones are fun too because you can see what's going on in here. I mean, like right now, Ramsey's looking at me with a blank stare with his Fu Manchu mustache, ready to leave, it looks like. So's
Hazel.
Hazel's been really grumpy. She's looking at us now. But But yeah, I think that's it for this week. Next week, we finally do have an interview that we've been trying to set up. It's going to be a Zoom interview, our first of the year.
Yeah.
First for season 3. That's going to be next week. That'll be episode 5. My ice fishing trip last weekend got canceled, rescheduled for this upcoming weekend. So be ready to hear about that. My first trip of the year. Super excited. And then the next weekend after that, I'm doing a tournament. So ice fishing's in full swing, and hopefully the boys can get out and get some stuff going. Ramsey, are you still doing a coyote hunt this weekend?
Possibly.
Or maybe are you going to potentially do that or go ice fishing? Or just potentially do?
I don't know.
Ramsey's been real dippy on ice fishing. I don't really know what that's about, but that's fine. I'll be the ice fisherman this year.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us. Again, that was a fun, informative, not really informative, but opinion-based discussion that we had that was kind of cool to
Controversial.
talk about. And just like I said, comment and let us know what you guys think on the post. Ramsey he's ready to go. He is really ready to go, which is, I mean, we do 2-hour podcasts. What are you crying about right now?
This has been a 9-minute
conclusion. You know how I am. I keep thinking of things to talk about. But I guess with that being said, guys, we'll be back next week with this interview. Enjoy this episode and comment on social media. Let us know what you think. As always, catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Peace. Thanks for listening to another episode of Bull Mountain Brothers.
Hey, if you're looking for more Bull Mountain Brothers, be sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at bull_mountain_brothers and Facebook and YouTube at Bull Mountain Brothers.
Also, don't forget to check out our B&B store at bullmountainbrothers.com, where you can find some super sweet deals on some seasonal merchandise and outdoor gear.